I'm Alicia.
And I'm Liam. We both have OCD, and instead of spiraling alone, we decided to turn our symptoms into a podcast. You're welcome.
Here, we overshare real stories, laugh through the anxiety, and talk to actual experts who can explain why your brain keeps asking, what if I accidentally marry my cousin?
Whether your thing is hand washing, mental rituals, or just silently panicking during normal conversations, congrats. You have found your people.
This is a safe place, unless you're an intrusive thought, in which case, get in line, buddy. We're booked.
So grab a weighted blanket, cancel your plans for the 5th time, and let's dive in. This is the OCD Confessional.
And yes, we did check this recording 4 times before uploading it. Yeah.
So let's dive in with a weird thing that you do, or a crazy thing that you do as a result of your OCD. Let's just get right into the shit.
Okay. It's funny because in the moment, it doesn't seem crazy. It's very real, right? But now when looking back, you're like, wow, that is really kind of wild that I do that. Okay. So, Spence travels for work, and he was leaving quite often. I have 2 boys, and when he would leave town, and I'm home alone with the kids, I would barricade the doors with furniture. Okay, wait, this is the best part. The furniture is not heavy, right? I'm able to pick it up and move it. So the little dinky table, I would just pile as much random stuff in front of the doors, because if I did that, it was going to keep an intruder out, right? But if I didn't do that, then someone was definitely breaking in and I was toast. So in those moments, he would tell me, okay, I'm leaving in a week. And I would already get that anxiety knowing what my night was going to look like and what furniture I was going to put in front of these doors leading to the outside. Can you picture that? Me just on the ground pulling these tables and chairs. Oh wait, but if I put 5 more books, let's see. We got to add this on top because that adds more weight. Right.
Do you, after you've done the initial putting of the desk in front of the door and the edge and all that, do you then go to lie down in bed and go, I don't know that was quite enough, and now you're worried about adding something to it?
Yeah, there's I'm never fully safe. I don't feel like, okay, that did the job. I don't know that it solves my problems yet. I do it time and time again. Right? I go to sleep thinking, okay, I feel a little safer, but my rational mind knows that's not going to keep someone away if they have a goal to get inside my house.
Right.
But in the moment, I have to do it because it's what I can do to control things. This was before I had an alarm system. And I would put things, we have these old school windows in the bedrooms with the tracks, and I would put things in there just skinny enough so that
lay some spikes,
Yeah, just a booby trap. I'm just trapping the whole house, leading up the stairs. There's a little mouse trap. My husband can tell me he's going on a trip a month prior to his trip, and I will live with that anxiety knowing I'm going to have it that night. And so it got to the point where I was like, okay, don't tell me. Just tell me, save my feelings about this, because I know I'll be fine. I don't want to live with the anxiety leading up to it for 30 days. So he's like, well, are you sure? Because then if I spring it on you last minute, then you get real anxious because you don't like the last minute change. And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm really difficult, aren't I? I'm sorry. Okay, tell me 3 days in advance. I don't know.
You got to find the right window. I'll give my crazy story to jump in.
Okay.
When I was 8, I became obsessed with the idea that my parents were going to die. I could stop it. And so I would get into bed at night. They'd be out on the couch watching television. I would sneak out of my bed, little 8-year-old freakish Liam, and I would peek through this little back window that looked into the TV room and make sure they were alive. And then I would feel relieved that I'm back to bed. 5 minutes later, I'd go, I have to. And so then what it became was I would get back into bed and I would say a prayer that they would live. And I would say it over and over and over again. And that still wouldn't be enough. Then I'd go check on them. I mean, I would be up for hours at a time checking on them. And the prayer was so funny because to this day, I can remember it. It would be, "Dear God, please protect my father, Donald Richard Royne, my mother, Elizabeth Violet Martin. We live at 67 Lamberts Lane, Cohasset, Massachusetts, 02025. They're sitting in the living room right now." And I love the idea that, and then if I messed any of that up, I had to start over. Right. Because if I didn't complete it and do it 4 times or whatever number of times it was, and I didn't check on them, they would die as a result of my behavior. And that was, I love the idea that God needs to know the address.
In case you're wondering where they're at right now, please let me tell you exactly. Oh man, that is a lot for a little boy to carry. I mean, and think about all the other kids out there doing that right now they just have no idea why, but he went to school tired. I mean, all the things that came from that ritual, if you will. Living with OCD is hard. And I don't think people understand how incredibly tough some days can be. And the ruminating thoughts and the intrusive thoughts. That's a huge one for me. I'm not checking the lights all the time or the doors. Well, I do that. But, the intrusive thoughts, the brain capacity that it takes up on a almost regular basis it's a lot, and you have kids now involved and you have a family and you have a job and you have a social life and you have all these demanding things that play a role. And you're like, man, how am I doing this? How is this, and I think it's important to understand why we think the way we think sometimes.
That's why we want to do this podcast. I think so many people, whether it's Spence or my mom or most people out in public, aren't really aware of what OCD is. And that's why we wanted to create this podcast, that there could be a space to talk about these things, confess some of the oddities that we engage in, take the stigma out of it a little bit. And then really, I want to laugh because I think
it's healing.
Say that again?
It's healing. Laughing is healing, and we should laugh about it.
Yeah, I think that when you can get to a place where you can view OCD and what it makes you do with at least a little bit of humor, and it's not always easy when you're in the thick of it, the idea of laughing at it is very tough. But if we can get a little bit into that space of going, boy, isn't this ridiculous what I'm doing? I think we will be much better off.
Don't you find it fascinating that we can laugh about it later, but in the moment we cannot?
Oh, it's horrible.
Why is that? Why are we able to look at it now and go, that is ridiculous. Go to bed. Like, you don't need to move your furniture. That's ridiculous.
That is a really good question. And I think that some of it is practice. Some of it is the practice of looking at it after the fact and then going, wow, that was fucking crazy what I just did or what I thought. And being able to laugh at it after the fact, then the next time it pops up, maybe it reduces it by some, even if it's marginal, reduces the intensity of it by some percentage, because you can go, I know there's going to be a moment in time, whether it's an hour from now, 2 days from now, 2 weeks from now, when I will find this funny. And there is such power in that in the moment to be able to go, if I just ride this wave, which is so horrible right now, when I get to the other side of it, this will be funny. It will be funny that I stacked 5 books on top of a desk, thinking that would somehow be the difference of the guy getting into the house. Like,
I mean, I have a dumbbell in the garage. It weighs 20 pounds. Yeah,
get the dumbbell.
That made more sense.
We want to kind of like let people know who we are a little bit here, because if you're just listening for the first time, you don't know Alicia and me, that we've given you a little bit of idea of what we want the OCD Confessional to be. But I also wanted to give a little bit of background on who we are and how we found each other and how we are creating this podcast. So I'm a former TV news anchor who, threw away my career a year and a half ago, partly as a result of a mental health crisis and wanting to confront my situation with OCD. And Alicia is an actress, a model, an influencer, and a wonderful mom and wife who has been so open about all this. And I think I wanted to start with your story, because you've talked a bit to me about some of the trauma that you experienced as a kid. And then having this sense throughout your life that you are anxious and that you carry anxiety, and that has been debilitating. But until pretty recently, you would not have described it as OCD. So just give us a little bit of background on Alicia.
Okay. All right. Well, I live in Southern California with my husband and our 2 boys. Like I said, today, my life now feels grounded for the most part, and it feels full, but it was not always that way. I grew up with a mom who struggled with depression, anxiety, and addiction, and a father who is definitely not winning any Parent of the Year awards. He had a lot of anger and was abusive. So I've always just thought, okay, well, this is who I am now because of what I came from. And I have chronic anxiety and I have these depression episodes because of my past. But it seems as though I was never able to fully let that go. And not because I was choosing to live in the past, but because little did I know I had OCD. And, it was like I was always on this hunt. I was always on this chase to figure out, like, why? Why am I depressed? I'm healthy. I have my dream career. I have my dream family. I work really hard on being present. I'm doing all the work. Why am I feeling this way? I've done talk therapy in the past, and it was always, I was always going into it with, like maybe a specific issue or something. And, how can you help me? OCD was never brought up. And when we had that conversation, it was a huge light bulb moment for me as well. I remember laying in bed as a little girl, and what I didn't, and thinking about, one day I'm going to get out of this. Whatever this is, I'm going to get out of this place. And I would dream about this. And I would live in this healthy, happy home. And I would almost escape the thoughts and patterns and negativity and the environment I was in. And little did I know, I was manifesting my life now. I would dream about being on TV. That's where I escaped the negative thoughts and the abuse. And I would just put myself to sleep with those beautiful thoughts that I'm living in now. And I think one of the hardest parts about living with OCD and in chronic debilitating anxiety sometimes is not being able to enjoy the life that I created. And I think that's a big one, is like, I then get so angry with myself, and the shame just piles on, because it's like, why can I not feel the love and joy that I've created? I've created this life. I married the most beautiful man, and I have incredible children. And it seems like I do a really good job at making myself feel miserable.
Yeah.
So anyway, on that note, I thought we were going to keep this really light and airy and funny, Liam. I don't have light and airy and funny. I have very serious, crippling thoughts.
What if at the end of you saying that, I just went, wah, wah.
Please do. Please just edit that part in.
Oh my God.
I always explain to Spence, it's like a battle in my mind. And sometimes you're just so exhausted from the thoughts that at the end of the day, you're like irritable, angry.
Oh my God. Like, I love that you described it as a battle.
It's a battle because we're aware of them. And it's like, well, if you're aware, then you can just control it and turn it around. Well, if it were that easy, we would not be having this conversation. I think that's a huge misconception, is that like we can just turn this off and decide. Yes, I would love that. I would I would give my right arm, well, my left because I'm right-handed, to not feel the way that it makes us feel. And I'm going to say it because I'm not going to define myself by it, right? It is a alien that takes over.
Oh my God. I love that you describe it that way. I've described it as feeling like a storm in my brain. Mm-hmm. And a battle is another great way to describe it. And this idea that it is this external force. I'll give a little bit of background on how I got here. And then I want to talk about how you and I met and how we started talking about this. But I spent 15 years as a television news anchor. And like I said, about a year and a half ago, decided to leave the job. And a lot of that was due to the fact that my OCD had gotten to a point where it was no longer sustainable. And rewind, 35 years to when I was a kid, having those thoughts of my parents dying. As a teenager, that really turned into an obsession with school. I was hyper focused on school. And I think there's a big overlap between OCD and high achievers. Uh-huh. And part of the reason.
Why didn't I get that symptom?
Look at you. You're such an achiever. I studied religiously, ritually. I think when I look back on it now, it was an obsession, and it was that when my OCD grabbed onto that, I felt if I do really, really well in school, I can finally prove to myself that I'm not a piece of shit. I am lovable. And I did very well. I got into Harvard, and every one of these steps along the way, it wasn't enough. And I would develop other compulsions or intrusive thoughts that would be going in the background during all of these experiences. And so what is so horrible about OCD is that it robs you of some of the best moments of your life.
Oh, it does.
I often say to Leah, my wife, that I spend a fair amount of time mourning the moments that I have lost as a result of OCD.
Gosh, and the loop that creates, right? I know that feeling, Liam, so much. And it just brings tears to my eyes because so many times I've asked myself, why can't I feel the joy in these things? Because we're not present. It ultimately comes down to not being present, not allowing ourselves to, well, I guess, again, allowing ourselves is not really an option when you're in those moments, right? Or we would.
I wonder if you see it this way too. I do not trust joy. Joy to me is, it's a sign that I should be worried about something. Do not enjoy this thing. You are taking your eye off the ball. The reason you got to this moment where you should be experiencing joy is because you did X, Y, Z to get yourself to this moment. If you take your eye off the ball, the joyful moments that might be coming in your future will be gone. And so you end up spending all of your time delaying the joy. And I finally just got to a place where I've said before that my OCD did me the favor of getting so bad that I had to do something.
Yeah, you hit rock bottom in that.
I hit rock bottom. And the crazy thing with all of this, Alicia, is that until that moment, my wife had no idea that I was.
Wow. Isn't that wild that the people closest to us, it can go unnoticed in the same house, operating under the same roof?
And she's a psychologist. And she had no idea because I masked the shit out of that thing. If there were like an Olympics for masking,
yeah,
I would fucking sweep the medals, and you would be on the podium with me.
Yeah, I had no idea until we had our conversation in South America. But it's interesting how many other people out there that we know personally are, going, wow, me too, guys.
Yes.
We have no idea.
And I think there's so much power in that. And when I was going through and trying to figure out what was going on with myself and coming up with solutions and tools and doing talk therapy and psychiatry and all that, the number one thing that I found to be helpful was talking to other people going through something similar. And that brings us to how you and I met. And the moment when I realized, oh, Alicia is in the tribe. She is in the OCD tribe with me, even though you didn't know it. So we were in South America together. We went on this incredible trip. Alicia has a influencing career in addition to being an actress and a model. And I was working for a company that took this trip to South America because they're a travel company and they were trying to get other people to book the trip. They brought Alicia and her husband and a bunch of other amazing people. And we were at dinner at this incredible restaurant in Buenos Aires. And Alicia and I are talking to each other. And you told me that when you are kissing your kids goodbye for school or when you're going on a trip, that if you don't do it the right way, you imagine they will die.
I don't like when you say that out loud.
Exactly. And I, in my heart, as sad as I was for you, I got very happy because I was like,
we can be friends. And how fun is it to open up to people and share that and know that, like, for me, I'm like, okay, I'm in safe company. Again, coming back to that safe place, you know? And it's like, I can be 100% myself around this person because he understands. And there is so much power and magic in that.
We had that conversation about masking. And I became so good at that, so proficient at that because I wanted to project confidence and competency and I'm cool and all the things that you think about me, that I'm successful and oh, he's got this great TV career and you went to Harvard, you did all that. I liked that. I liked that people had that perception of me and I did not want to disrupt that. I did not want to disabuse them.
If people have that perception of you, then isn't that who you are? If that's what you decided to show up as, then because I saw you as that person, right? Until you told me, I would have had no idea. That gets me questioning myself in a whole nother loop of overthinking of like, who am I really then? Because if I am this person that lives with these, you know, intrusive thoughts, that must be how it's not who I identify with, but it gets, this is the problem. This is the problem. Hi, you're witnessing what it's like to live with OCD. Who am I? Am I my thoughts? If we are who we say we are, then.
This is why I wanted to do this and to have this conversation, is because these are the very questions that we struggle with constantly, which is like, am I my OCD? Of course you're not your OCD, but your OCD impacts just about every aspect of your life. And
it changes you. I mean, how can it not? If you believe the thoughts that are so real, it will change. And it does change my reality because then I become someone, you know, arguing within myself on a daily basis. It's like this roller coaster ride that you just want to get off of.
yes.
One for me lately is the vision of my husband getting in a car accident. If I do not tell him to drive safe, it's going to happen. And I mean, I'll call him, hey, drive safe. Are you buckled? Stay off your phone. And if I don't say those things, it will eat me up until I do. Because if I don't, then I am guilty if something were to happen. And that is a lot to live with.
And here's what's so horrible about that, in addition to, you know, what's obvious, is that the stakes of that are incredibly high, right? So this is why OCD takes such a hold. You performing those rituals to stop Spence from dying are a burden on your life.
Uh-huh.
But Spence dying would be a much larger burden. And so what your mind tells you is it's worth it to keep performing these rituals because the stakes are so high.
Right.
And what that doesn't allow you to see is that, yes, the stakes are incredibly high, but your performing of this ritual has no impact on whether or not those stakes will be realized. And it's such a torturous thing because I've got one of the compulsions I had when my daughter was first born was I thought she was going to die of SIDS. And so I would spend all night going in and looking through the slats in the crib and make sure that her chest was going. And then I would get into bed and then I get back up and I go look, and it was bananas. And I'd be up for hours and keep my poor wife up as well. And what I would say to her, and she'd go, you're not going to change it, is I'd go, but if I don't do it and she dies, I mean, you can't get larger stakes than that.
I'm responsible for that because I could have been there to avoid that. I will save that situation. Yeah.
So what do you do with that when it's like,
I feel like you haven't slept in a decade, Liam.
It feels that way to me.
You're a vampire. Yeah. Oh man.
So let's talk a little bit about, just to kind of round this out, a little bit about the tools that we use that have been helpful. So I feel like if we can give one per episode from our own personal experience that we have found to be helpful, then we will have given the audience something. So is there a tool that, it doesn't have to be your biggest one, but something that you do that you find pretty consistently diminishes the symptoms at least a little?
You know what I find myself doing a lot of that I feel is helpful is breath work. Pausing. I hold my breath a lot because I'm probably fearful of the thought I just had. I catch myself just holding my breath a lot, and that just feeds the anxiety, right? Just pausing, looking around, reminding myself I'm safe. Everything is okay. My kids are safe. My husband is buckled. He's good. And taking breaths. And I think detaching from the loop in that way of grounding myself, it has been really, really helpful.
I love that. Is there a specific breath work, or it's just slowing down your breath?
You know what I have? I have a book that I'll carry with me that there's different breath work that you can apply depending on the thoughts you're having, how you're feeling, where's the energy holding? Is it in my chest? Is it in my stomach? Is it in my head? Because a lot of that energy becomes stagnant within me and I have to figure out a way to get it out. So one that I always fall back on is 4-7-8. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. I mean, that's a very easy go-to.
4-7-8 is great. I do the physiological sigh a fair amount, which I don't need to know, like the details.
Can I hear that?
Oh, no, I'm just
kidding. I did that this morning. A lot of those.
Well, the physiological sigh is breathing in through the nose as long as you can go and really expanding your diaphragm. And then when
that's breath work.
Yes. And when you think you can't get any more air in, you go in again, and then it's very slow out through the mouth. And you can do that even a couple of times, and you will notice that it physiologically calms you down. So that is definitely one of my tools. And the other one that I use, I have a lot of tools, but one of the other ones that I use frequently is roughhousing with the kids. I find that if I can, kind of get into that animal dad mode of, roughhousing with the kids, tickling them, throwing them on the bed or whatever, that.
Well, it's because you're present.
Yes.
You're a kid again with them, and you're not allowing room for those thoughts to invade, right? And so you're happy. You're happy in those moments. And I think we do tend to cling on to those moments where we are present. And working out is another one for me. Getting in the gym.
Exercise is like.
Exercise is everything. I don't know what I would do without it.
I think that the research shows that beats just about every intervention. So
yeah.
The funny thing about the tools is that, and we can, in each episode, maybe we talk about additional tools, but I can remember hearing this one person talk about the tools that he uses. I forget who it was, but he was on a podcast and he went through the list, and he was like, well, I make sure I exercise, I eat right, I use sleep hygiene, I go for walks in the woods, I do breath work. He went through this list of like 10 to 15 things that he does every day. Yeah. And he goes, I do all of that to feel okay. And I just burst out laughing. I burst out laughing because I was like, yes, the number of fucking tools that I have in my tool belt. And it's all
that you must do.
It's all just to be like, all right. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not to make your life amazing and cure your disease. Like you could do all these things and that's part of what you have to accept, be okay with. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that.
Yes,
I do. I have a very. I mean, to think that this is how it's going to be forever, I can't live with that one.
That is, you making peace with that is.
I mean, I texted you the other day. I think I was spiraling about doing this whole thing, and you were like, I think one thing that helps me is just accepting that there's going to be good days and bad days, and I almost wanted to cry at that tiny little statement. It was so powerful because those good days are so good. They're so good. Mm-hmm. And the bad days are just so bad.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Mission statement for this podcast, the OCD Confessional. What are you hoping people get?
I want to create a space with you that makes people feel safe and heard and seen, and they can come and laugh with us about the silly things that we do. It's also just very healing to talk about it. Even if we don't get one listener, I just like to talk to you. It's the podcast for me is just another way to bring awareness and light to what can feel like a very heavy topic. And I think, you and I connected in that way. And I know that when we finished up our conversation, when you first told me that, you have this OCD as well, I left there feeling like, I want to talk to him more about that. What does that mean? And what does he do? And okay, so I'm not as weird or broken as I've thought I am. And I want to hear, more about the tools that you do that I have not heard of or tried that may help me. And I want to bring that to our viewers. I want them to know that they are in a safe place where we can talk about all the things. And this is a no judgment zone. And we will bring on amazing, incredibly smart people who are experts in this field who can teach us something, and we can all laugh and cry together. I'm a crier, so I'm sure there'll be many tears. So I'm really, really grateful that you reached out, Liam, and thought of me to share these stories with, and hopefully bring in people who would also like to share.
I love that. I'm grateful you said yes. The genesis of this was at that dinner for the International OCD Foundation. After I gave my speech, I sat with this young woman who had a severe OCD case when she was a kid. Her OCD centered on checking, and she became obsessed that she had hit someone with her car. And this is a common OCD issue. She would be driving, she'd hit a bump, and she'd think that was a person. And then she would spend hours circling back, checking that she hadn't hit someone. And she'd get a mile down the road and go, no, actually, maybe they went off the side of the road and I didn't see them. I'm going to go back. And she and I were sitting across the table from each other. She shared this story, and I shared some of the stuff that I've done, and we were laughing so hard at the shit that, like, I guess there was someone in the car with her who didn't understand her situation. So she kept circling and then coming up with excuses for why she had to keep checking on this spot. And it was so goddamn funny. She was revealing the craziest shit that she has done. I was revealing the craziest shit I had done. And we were taking some of the power out of it by laughing about it and being like, isn't that insane? It doesn't mean we're not going to do it again. And we certainly did it.
That's the best part. That is what is so baffling to me is like, we can sit here and laugh, but it'll happen again.
Oh, yeah. It has happened several times since. And I don't know if she's still checking on people. She might be on the highway still right now. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
But it's good to know that if she ever hits us, she will make sure we get to the hospital. And then
I hope she's listening, laughing right now. Honestly.
I think the next day I texted you and said, I want to do this. I want to do podcasts. I feel like you should do it with me because that moment in South America where I realized you're part of the tribe. And then 2, we were at a performance in Buenos Aires. Alicia and I were sitting across from each other. It was a performance of the tango and it was unbelievable. These were like the best tango dancers in the world at this private club in Buenos Aires.
It was pretty incredible.
And I'm sitting right next to the stage. I mean, these dancers are on top of me. And this one woman gets lifted into the air. And she's like right here. Like her ass is right here. And she's being twirled around by this amazing tango dancer. And I'm just sitting up looking at her. And I hear, psst, and I look across at Alicia and she goes,
oh my gosh, that was a moment for you where you're like, yes, we are going to have a podcast.
That's my girl. Yeah, hilarious. This amazing dancer right there, right in front of me. And Alicia makes a fart sound. And I just was like, she is as twisted.
She set me up.
She is as twisted and like fucked in the head as I am. And so we need to.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping people get out of it too is, whether it's a fart joke or a tool that we use that they might find helpful. As Alicia was saying, we're going to have experts on. We are planning for the second episode. We're going to dive deep into OCD because I think it is so misunderstood. And that is a big part of the problem is that people like Alicia and myself a few years ago had the totally wrong understanding of what OCD is. And if we can't, I know that, you don't love labels, Alicia, but if we can't at least have like a name and an understanding for it, then it's very hard to tackle it. And so that we want people to get that out of it as well. If you are listening and you want to hear more, you have to subscribe. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We do have a YouTube page, the OCD Confessional. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Share your stories with us as well. We would love to hear from people. You can send us a DM. We want to know, are there experts you want to talk to? Are there specific tools or interventions you'd like us to explore? Is there a story you just want to share and that you want us to talk about on the podcast? Really, our goal is to shine a light on this, laugh a lot, reduce the stigma, give some tools, and just generally learn more about what the hell this thing is.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more.
We're going to learn along the way. Hop aboard, bud. We're going for a ride.
Let's go. Yippee. How about reverse psychology? Whatever you do, don't subscribe.
Not subscribe. Don't follow us on social. Don't listen ever again.
Have a good day.
Okay. Why don't we say this is the OCD Confessional together, and then you read that last line?
Okay.
Okay. You want to count us in?
Yeah, to 3. This is the OCD. I thought we were doing it together.
I thought you were going to count us in.
I'm not going to actually count. I just did this.
I thought you were going to do 3, 2, then the 1 is silent. This is the OCD Confessional.
I love that you had your own idea of what I was going to do. That's but like, 1, 2.
This?
Am I saying 3?
Yeah, you're not. You don't say 3. You just go, yeah, or you could do 3, 2, blank, and then
3, 2, a B, and then go.
Yes.
Ready, go. 3, 2.
This
This is the Oh my God, you have such a broadcast tone. I love it.
Yeah.
An anchor, a journalist. This is the
OCD Confessional.
Do they teach you that in school? They do.
No, I think you just start.
You just pick it up?
Pick it up.
Everyone has that way. This, slight pause. This
Slight pause.
is
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
This.
3,
Okay.
2.
This is the
It's the OCD Confessional.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know if we're going to get that line. You just might have to do it.
I think we need to leave what that edit in. That is going to be the best edit ever, that we're not going to get that.
Oh, yeah.
You might have to just leave that in.
I think I'm just leaving it in.